Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daryl Dukes and welcome to the special edition of One Saturday Morning. Now, I know you just got done seeing the 44th President of the United States and the first African American President, Barack Obama, deliver his final address as the Commander in Chief. As we all know, in another 20 days or so, he will no longer be President of the United States. That title will belong to businessman, entrepreneur, and reality show host Donald J. Trump. On January 20th of this current year, he will become the 45th President of the United States. Now, there were some quotes that were interesting throughout President Obama's speech, which originally was supposed to be about half an hour, but knowing how speeches go, that tends to run over by like 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes. Now, I just want to a couple of notes here. He started at 9:04 Eastern Standard Time. Now, the reason why, because of the delay, because again, the networks, ABC, Fox, CBS, and NBC, they all have to sign on, do their little intro, introduce their political contributors, and get them into the coverage. Now, um, with some of the networks, again, sticking with the networks, they also are running their evening newscasts for our friends out in the West Coast. So that's why their newscast is a little different because this speech is literally cutting in through their half an hour newscast. Now, the President Obama could have gotten done like maybe 2 3 minutes sooner if people were listening to him, and he basically acknowledged them when they was cheering for him by saying this quote: "You can tell I'm a lame duck because no one's following directions." Now, no, if you're not into the political world, I managed to write down the definition of lame duck, which is the official final period in office. Hence, what President Obama is going through right now. This is his last time, couple of days in office. As I said, as of January 20th at noon, he will no longer be the current president of the United States. That title will be bestowed upon Donald J. Trump. Now, President Obama made this key fact while he was talking that he came to Chicago in his mid 20s. Now, during his speech, there was a couple protesters, which you could audibly hear them in the background if you were paying very close attention. And the crowd at that point began chanting 4 more years, which, according to the United States Constitution, no president can serve no more than 2 terms, meaning 2 4-year terms. The only president that did that was way, like, I want to say, before my time, which I can't think of the president's name off the top of my head, because the reason why he had a presidential third term, because we were going to war at the moment. Now, going over some more notes. Basically, he also took a shot at Donald Trump with this line. He says to embrace all, not some, meaning, like I said, going after Donald Trump, where he stands on Latinos and Muslims, and his basically signature idea is to build a wall and expect another country to build it, which we now found out within the last couple of days. The wall is still going to be built. However, it's going to be using taxpayers' dollars to build this wall. Mexico would no longer pay for it. Again, we heard this in the recent development in the last couple of days. And another thing he did, he touted his achievements from capturing and killing, or putting the order out rather, to capture and killing Osama bin Laden, to creating Obamacare, and to be the first president to openly express same-sex marriage, or somewhere around those nature. Now, no, now there was two particular words that caught my ear that I thought the president said was somewhat offensive. Was the term brown kid. Now, during this speech, I managed to look at this up as well, along with lame duck, which brown skin meaning to a person who is from India or a smart kid, which I thought he said something racist, but I'm pretty sure he meant it in the most nicest and sincerest way as he can. Um, and also, he left with another thing when it comes down to the Islamic State or ISIS or ISIL, whichever one you can use. He said to be, let's be vigilant and not afraid. Now, note, like I mentioned, this was President Obama's last speech as Commander in Chief, and hopefully we'll see him in the long run. And a quick note, programming note: Donald Trump is expected to make his first to do his first press conference around 11 a.m. tomorrow. We'll have we'll be live at some given point after that, going over what Mr. Trump says, because this is his first press conference as president-elect of the United States. Meaning, in another 9 days, starting tomorrow, he is only 9 days away from being becoming the 45th president of the United States. In other related news here on the special edition of One Saturday Morning, as we brought to you yesterday during our special coverage, there is currently a manhunt going on in the city beautiful here in Orlando, where 41-year-old Markeith Lloyd has been accused of shooting and killing Master Sergeant Delbert Clayton, and as well um, second Deputy First Class Norman Lewis. Norman Lewis is the age of 35, and Dan McClain is the age of 41. Miss Clayton's, if I have right, yeah, Miss Clayton is the mother of a college-age son. She spent 17 years at the Orlando Police Department. She started in 1999, and what had happened, to recap everything that's going on so far, how she approached the suspect. She was in full body armor, which means the vest and had everything that she needed with the vest. Somebody alerted her of Mr. Lloyd, and at some given point, Mr. Lloyd and Master Sergeant Clayton began on a chase. Some way, somehow, Mr. Lloyd hit Master Sergeant Clayton a couple of times with some gunshots, and she ended up dying at the Walmart off of Pine Hill and John Young Parkway. Now, at some given point afterwards, Mr. Lloyd carjacked a vehicle and somehow so he managed to kill Norman Lewis, Deputy First Class Norman Lewis, and that will make it two officers that he killed in the span of one day. Well, I want to say within a few hours of each other. And coincidentally, this was shed light to today. Um, Mr. Lloyd one of his New Year's resolutions, so to speak, was to be on the most wanted list. Well, he got his wish. Earlier today, the Federal Bureau of Investigations basically said that he is on the most wanted list. He is armed and dangerous, and they are telling folks, if you see something, please call 911. Do not try to capture and contain it yourselves, or call the crime line at 1-800-423-TIPS, 1-800-423-TIPS, to make sure that he is off the streets. Now, with some more information, like I just mentioned, he is on the most wanted list, the FBI's most wanted list. The reward, as I mentioned to you yesterday during our special coverage, at the time it was $60,000. The reward just went up by another $40,000, and the current reward for information leading up to his arrest is currently at $100,000. Now, ever since the incident more than 24 hours ago, over 300 tips have led to Crime Line about Mr. Lloyd. And now note, the person who currently runs Crime Line basically explained that they normally have 1,000 tips in 1 year. So this is nearly half of what they get in 1 year just in the beginning of this year. Um, Both officers will have their funerals held at First Baptist Church in Orlando, here in the Orlando area. Um, Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton will have her funeral on 2 p.m. on Saturday. First Class Norman Lewis will have his funeral at 11 a.m. on Friday. And just to reiterate, um, the Mr. Lloyd, Kenneth Lloyd is still on the run. If you find him, if you see him, please notify police. Either call 911 or 1-800-423-TIPS. And like I mentioned, he is armed and dangerous. So please do not try to do anything too reckless to get yourself killed. And like I said, it is $100,000 reward. Also, in other in other news, if I could just find my notes here. Ah, yes, over here. So Dylan Roof. If you remember, not a couple years ago, Dylan Roof was went into a historically black church, sat during their little prayer service. At the end of the prayer service, basically went cuckoo crazy and ended up shooting and killing a couple of people. And like I said, the historical black church happened back in 2015, rather, just 2 years ago. A jury of 12 federal jurors composing of 10 women and 2 men has recommended that Mr. Wolf will face the death penalty on all 18 counts. Now, note it was noted during the trial that Mr. Wolf didn't even defend himself. He admitted to investigators that he did do this shooting, and that he didn't feel no remorse whatsoever about killing all those people. So now, as a result of him basically going into, like I said, going to a historical black church, sitting down for 45 minutes and enjoying the prayer service, he is going to be he is going to face the death penalty, meaning that at some given point he will be put to death, and that would be justice to the families who were at the church at that night, basically doing nothing but worshiping their creator. Now, another note we would like to update you on here on the special edition of One Saturday Morning. If you remember yesterday, we told you about a breaking news situation down in Miami Beach where there was some sort of a bomb and gun threat in Miami Beach. Come to know that now that was all somewhat false, but the backstory is much more interesting than this. There was 2 guys going to a bank, and again, this was all recorded on Facebook Live. He robbed the bank. They was driving to an undisclosed location, and basically give out the money that they stole to people, and the people didn't know what was going on. Afterwards, he told them, "Hey guys, earlier in the day, I stole this money from a bank," and at some given point within the time of me breaking this news until now, the 2 suspects has been arrested, and we currently don't know what type of charges will be placed on them, but rest assured we will keep you posted on that. So, just to recap, our major stories here on the special edition of One Saturday Morning. President Obama gives his final speech as the current commander in chief. He's basically touted his achievements as in the Affordable Care Act, technically known as Obamacare, to the whole same-sex marriage, to capturing and killing Osama bin Laden, and all his other well-known well-known positions on certain issues. And he basically gave one last shot towards Donald Trump by basically saying embrace all, not just some, meaning that he took an attack, that Mr. President Obama took an attack on Donald Trump, basically because Donald Trump wants to build a wall and keep out Mexicans, Latinos, and Muslims from entering our country. The second biggest story is that here on the special edition of One Saturday Morning is the reward that has been risen for the information regarding Kenneth Lloyd, who is age 41. As of yesterday's special edition of on News Now Nation, until now, he still has not been captured. The reward during yesterday was at $60,000. That reward has been risen to $100,000 in the span of 1 day for all the information dealing with Mr. Lloyd. And the final piece of information, newsworthy rather, is that Dylan Roof, he killed 9 people in a 2015 massacre at a historical black church. He will be facing the death penalty thanks to a jury of 12 people. 10 of them were composed of women. The other two were composed of male. Now, note, like I mentioned at the top of this broadcast, Donald Trump will be doing his first press conference as commander, as president-elect tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we'll bring you any updates afterwards during a live special edition of the News Foundation. And until then, friends, my name is Derek Dukes. Thank you for watching this special edition of One Saturday Morning. And until we meet again, friends, stay gold.